The FDA has decided to move the morning after pill to over-the-counter status. USA Today is reporting that those over 15 and over will be able to buy it. You will have to show an ID which proves that you are that age. Does everybody who's 15 carry an ID? Well, that's one of the issues a lot of people have with this. This is kind of an attempt to find some middle ground before the deadline hits for the court-imposed lifting of all age restrictions on Plan B or the morning after pill. So buyers have to prove they're 17 or older to buy the Plan B morning after pill without a prescription. What would happen now is that it would come out from behind the counter. It would be over the counter. You'd be able to pick it up, and when you go to check out, it would flag the checkout system, so you would have to show an ID saying that you are 15. So there's a lot of questions here. Conservatives, of course, say that this is absolutely disastrous. Children from an early age should be taught abstinence-only sex education, and that this should just not be a factor. It's a 15-year-old kid. They are still under the purview and custody of their parents, and they should not be able to buy Plan B morning after pill on their own. Others say this doesn't go far enough, that 15-year-olds really should be able to buy the morning after pill, and actually requiring an ID would have two negative effects on people getting this when they've determined that they need it. Number one, not all 15-year-olds have a state-issued ID. And number two, that the stigma associated with having to go through a purchase process that says, oh, you're buying a specific item, which means I need to ask you for your ID, that in and of itself could be a deterring factor. So really what it comes down to, I think, Natan, is should a 15-year-old be able to make this decision on their own or not? Because once you decide that, then you kind of, the question of, well, the ID kind of becomes secondary. The question of over-the-counter or not becomes secondary, and that's not really something people completely agree on in this country.
Right. So on the one hand, someone could look at this and say, well, hold on. If we're going to let 15-year-olds get access to this without a prescription and without showing ID, why can't an 11-year-old? And the answer is, that's true, but on the other hand, why would an 11-year-old ever do this? It would probably only happen if, number one, they had unprotected sex and were worried about getting pregnant. Obviously, no one wants to think about an 11-year-old doing this. But if it happened and they knew that this was an option and their parents didn't approve, wouldn't we say, well, they should probably get it if that's really what happened and that's the way to prevent it, and they're being prevented from getting it from their parents or anyone else?
You would probably make that case. And in fact, that's the argument being made by Kathleen Sebelius, Secretary of Health and Human Services. She said some girls as young as 11 are physically capable of bearing children, and they should not be able to get this on their own. I mean, the reality is that most 11-year-olds wouldn't even know about this, and we're really getting into murky territory when we say it's a borderline age for even being able to get pregnant, and borderline that anybody would even know about it. And then you say, well, what if you have a rapist who goes and buys it and gives it to the 11-year-old?
Right.
Well, the rapist is probably over the 15 years old anyway in many cases. Or do we have a 12-year-old rapist going to buy the morning after pill for an 11-year-old rape victim? I don't know that going into these kind of nightmare scenarios is the solution here.
No, I just think that when you actually think about a specific case, whether it's a real case or a hypothetical, you see that no one would ever buy this product unless you've already had the sex.
Right.
So abstinence would have no effect on this.
Certainly not.
And
That's
you would
missed on,
only do it if you knew about it. So, I mean, it seems like no one would go to these lengths unless it was really absolutely necessary.
On today's bonus show, we will talk about the future of the David Pakman Show, a very different bonus show today. DavidPakman.com/membership to sign up. But also when we come back, I'll tell you about our special May of 2013. It is May after all. Our May of 2013 membership special, which includes a bunch of great free stuff. So stay with us. We will take a break and be back after this. And of course, if you want to find out now about that membership special, it's DavidPakman.com/May13, May 13. Check that out, and we'll be back after this.
The David Pakman Show at DavidPakman.com.